Welcome to Cloud Training for Enthusiasts. My name is Osatoame Patrick Aigbogun. Yesterday we started with what are how to get a DevOps role and how to ace a DevOps interview. So we mentioned yesterday that the first thing you need is actually your resume. That we have two types of resume. We have the paper, your profile resume, and we have your global resume. And in terms of global resume, we mentioned that your first global resume is your LinkedIn profile. And we took time yesterday to really and analyze those parts of LinkedIn that recruiters always go for in order to know your kind of person and to validate those things that you say you are. Then we went ahead to explain the greatest thing you can do on your LinkedIn and how to make your LinkedIn more interesting, how to make your LinkedIn to attract the real people, the real recruiters and the type of job that you can state, and how to do a LinkedIn quiz so that you can promote your profile. So we did so many things yesterday and it was very fun. And the video is already, I think I'm going to share it, but I'm hoping not to share. I don't want to share that video on my LinkedIn profile because there's some confidential things that was said. But nevertheless, I'm going to put it in an S3 bucket so that only those that have access to it can just preview it, or they cannot download it just to view and view sake. So, and it's going to be available for a short time before we remove it. Or I'm also looking at the possibility of or maybe censoring it or removing those confidential parts so that it can be open for everybody. Because there are so many important things I mentioned yesterday that I know is going to be very helpful to especially all our students. So today we are going to be talking about the stages of getting, or the stages of getting a DevOps role, the interview stages. Yes, I mentioned it yesterday, but I just want to really buttress and possibly do a mock interview, and like that, and prepare us for interview. For those of us that will be ready for interview this week. What are the steps? All companies has their own step. It's custom. Custom in the sense that every company have their own steps. But despite they have their own steps, but they have so many things in common. The first step is the recruiter interview, also known as call, 15 minutes call. This recruiter interview lasts between 15 to 30 minutes. 15 to 30 minutes. And it's centered on knowing your resume, just centered on validating the resume and the person. Most times the interview is video call. They want to know that they are talking to a real human being. You get me? They are not interested in your technical skill. They are not interested in whether you have a technical skill or not. But this first interview, am I recording? Yes, I'm recording. The first interview is just to put a face. You can also call it put a face. Put a face to the resume. So this is where they are going to be asking you the number of years of experience per skill. They will ask you skill, experience, in terms of years. You understand me? In years, They will ask you that question. In this place, they will ask you location, and they will ask you expected salary. And they will also ask you the culture. This culture refers to either remote, hybrid, or relocation. That's the first interview. They will tell you, they will not tell, some will tell you the amount attached to the role, but some will just tell you the location, the type of culture, and they will give you the brief summary, brief intro of the company. So what are they looking at in this step of interview? One, they're looking at one for your communication, and confidence, genuineness, and enthusiasm. So you understand me? They will expect you to have maybe do a little research about the company. Are you getting me? And say a little about the company. Though they are going to still tell you, but this is what they are looking at for. This is their goal. The goal. This is the goal of this interview. This is the goal of this interview. Most times, those recruiters are like marketers. They are like sales people, and they are like headhunters. You can call them headhunters, meaning the company contracts them to look out for people that matches this job JD. So these people, they are headhunters. They are the one that will advertise the role. They are the one that will look out for you. But immediately they'll see your resume and they see the skill set matches with what was advertised, they will reach out to you and they will establish communication. And this establishment of communication, they want to know your skill, your history, your background, and they'll ask for your resume. They will review your resume. Some of them, if you communicate with them better, and it's some of the skill set that they need is not in your resume, and they see that you can do that skill, they can also advise you to go and update your resume to match the job that was being advertised. So some of them are very friendly, but they are more of psychologists. So when they reach out to you, they want to see your communication, they want to see your enthusiasm, they want to hear you talk. And when they see the way you communicate and the way you express yourself technically, now they can advise you, because they want to see, after they have gotten you, they want to sell you to the company, because that's where their money is. Some of them are doing for business. They want to get ahead and sell it to the company that require it. So it takes like 30 minutes interview or 15 to 30 minutes interview. Then when this part is successful, the next you will now go to is recruiting manager or HRO manager. How do you pass that interview? Simple. Be brief. Let me tell how you to pass the interview. How to pass this interview is very simple. One, be real. One, not like be fluent. Two, be real. What I mean by be real, I always tell people that part that you know you really did, that you really practice, that you are comfortable with, always say that part. Then the third part you have to do in this part is be relaxed and let your environment, ENV, be great. Meaning your shirt, your lighting, your audio, your webcam, must be relaxed. There must be proper lighting. They can see your face. You understand? And when you are communicating, not like M. So there's going to ask you that simple question. Tell me about yourself. You understand me? And that tell me about yourself is supposed to be like 3 minutes. That tell me about yourself. It's as simple as that question. They expect to know a little more about you and how fluent you are. So this interview is very relaxed. So they expect you to be relaxed. Understand me? You have to be what? Solution, you have to be what? To this interview is you have to be real, you have to be fluent, you have to be real, you have to relax, and you let your environment be great. Your environment, I'm talking about this one, I'm talking about your video, your e-presence. Because most times it's going to be a video call. I always recommend if you can get a headphone, a headphone that can have noise cancellation, get it. Your background should be plain. Even if you are going to use a video filter, sometimes video filters reduces quality of your video. So I always recommend look for a plain background when you are wearing a shirt. If you have a sweater, you know this cold wear, that is that round neck cold wear. You understand me? Put on a long sleeve. Let them be a round neck cold wear. You know this normal sweater, this normal pullover, not the winter own. You understand? To make you look corporate. And whenever you are talking, you smile. You understand me? You smile. I'm going to demonstrate it. Then that is for this interview. Then when you are successful, the recruiter sees like they are going to make money and you can match with the skill. What they will now move you to, they'll move you to work or a recruiting manager. Most times, this recruiting manager is head of HR of the company that wants you to work with them. You understand me? Immediately they push you to this place, your interview actually started. This is where your interview really starts. Now, what this recruiting manager is going to do, they are going to validate what the recruiter have shared. So what does that mean? It means that it's still going to be a video call. They are going to see you as a person. They are going to see the energy that you use in communicating. They will also validate those culture, as I mentioned earlier. They will validate if you're the person and the resume. They will validate your face, your real face. Sometimes some may not even be video, will be audio, but they already have an audio of your video, of your interview. Because most recruiting interview is always video. They will record it and share it with the recruiting manager. So they will compare the voice and the face, and the voice that the recruiter is saying. They will also tell you about the company, and they will also share the culture and ask you if you are comfortable with it. And they will give you a brief history of the company. And they also want to know how much you have done research. They want to know how much you are interested. How much is your interest? How much is your interest? How much is your interest to the company and the role? So this is what these people will look at for. So it's still going to be, tell me about yourself. The question is going to be, tell me about yourself. Why do you want to leave your former job? Or work for, why do you want to work? for us is the same question like, why do you want to leave a formal job? Are you comfortable with the culture? With culture, meaning, are you ready to relocate, or are you ready to do remote job, or are you ready to come to the office? Then they will still ask you, are you comfortable with the JD? These people are not technical people. So they are not going to ask you technical questions. They are going to ask you behavioral questions. And they also want to know your salary expectation. Be careful, because salary expectation, yeah, either you tell them anything, whatever you tell them, it's not going to count, because there's already a salary tied to the role. Expectation. So these are the questions they are going to ask. Salary expectation. These are the questions they are going to ask. These people, these are the questions they are going to ask. They want to know if you are the real person, what the energy that the recruiter, because for you to have reached out to them, gotten to them, means that the recruiter has screened you, and they are only just to validate. They are to like a handshake into the company. Then these are the questions they are going to tell me about yourself. The same thing. Why do you want to work with us? Are you comfortable with the culture? Are you comfortable with the JD? Salary expectation. This is why do you want to work with us? They want to know if you have known about the company and what the company is all about, and the stack that the company is expecting for you to do. Then after this interview is successful, then they will now push you to the first technical interview. The technical interview is, this one is more of interaction. Some companies can have just one interview, especially if the company is recruiting for another company, or if the company is so relaxed, maybe they are so comfortable, they call it recruiting interview. This is called technical interview. So this technical interview, they are going to, it's going to be verbal. Most times it's verbal, and it's intense. It's verbal, it's intense, and it's most times 1 hour. And it's deep dive into your experience. And your tech stack. Then they will also want to know your familiarization, your genuineness. And they will compare your stack with what they are using. So they will ask you your tech stack. They will want to validate your tech stack. They will want to look at you. And most importantly, after everything you've said, they are going to ask you to go to validate if your tech stack match with what they are having. So most, this interview is very, 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 very technical, and also very behavioral, and is very easy to pass. You understand? It's very easy to pass. Sometimes it can be two persons, and sometimes this technical interview is with the CTO. Most times it's with the CTO. That's Chief Technical Officer. Sometimes, most times it's with the CTO. So the CTO wants to know if you can play with the team, if you can come to the team. and the CTO will have a very interesting moment with you. We'll ask you so many questions, and as it's asking you your resume, it's going to be with him. So whatever thing you are saying is looking at it in the resume. And sometimes you can answer this question. Okay, don't worry, let me just tell you the processes, then I'll come back and explain how to pass this particular interview. Hello, mic check, can you hear me? Mic check. Mic check. Please, if you can hear me, say hello.
We can hear you.
Okay,
Alpha over. We can hear you.
Okay, beautiful.
Over. Copy.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Okay, beautiful. So this technical interview with the CTO or the team lead or the head of stack, but this technical interview is more of overview and is deep. So whenever you're introducing yourself, whatever thing you say you've done, you hear question like, the question you hear is like, tell us about your day-to-day work life. Then you hear a question like, after your day-to-day work life, then you hear a question like, as you are talking your day-to-day life, they expect you to mention your stack. They expect you to mention what the project you've done. They expect you to mention the most interesting thing, the most passionate thing that you like to do. Let me put it here. What they expect your stack. They expect to hear the project you worked on and the tools. They expect to hear your passion, your tech passion. That's something that you did that you can really proud of, that you really want to, your tech passion. They also want to hear about your years of experience. They also want to hear about the challenges and your successes, as regards project. So if you did not introduce yourself, you didn't say much about it, they will start asking you these questions. Questions like, which is your, what project do you really like more that you've worked on, that you really want to share? You understand me? Or what are the challenges you faced? Okay, this tool that you've used, if you say you have used XYZ, the XYZ tool that you have used, what is those tools? Well, how did you use it? Were you the one that did it, or you joined the team that did it? What is your role in that team? What is the challenge? What was the value of that team to the team? So these are the questions that I'm going to be asking you, and these questions are deep questions. So you have to be careful to always say things that you have practiced. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean something you have done as a project. You know, sometimes we just say things, but it must be something that you can drive home. You understand? Don't just say things because you want to let people know that. For example, you just cram the JD, you just come there, say, I've used SonarQube, I've used Jenkins, I've used GCP, I've used GKE, I've deployed so many applications, I've managed a complete application software development cycle. Oh, wow, they'll be hearing you out. Good. Okay. Can you tell us about the software development cycle that you manage end to end and how you're able to use SonarQube? There are some terms, there are some terminology, there are some stack language. There are some, because they have used it. Some of them have used it. Some of them have supervised those that have used it. So if you're no longer using those tech words, they will know that you're lying. And immediately they perceive you're lying, forget it. So you have to be sure. Most times, I would like to say things that I have done, a project that I have done, things I've worked on. You understand me? Even as simple as troubleshooting You saw that WordPress that I said you guys to do. That WordPress was a project. It's called POC. Breaking news. I went for an interview day before yesterday. Do you know the question they asked me? Yeah? Technical question. Guess what? Guess the question. Can anyone guess? Hello, I say we Jolako, can you guess?
How did you do the installation? I don't know.
The question, thank you so much. That was great. That was close. The question they also asked me is, how do you install a WordPress in a VM? You see that question? That was the, I'm talking about.
Oh, wow, that's.
Yes. That was the question the DevOps, senior DevOps engineer asked me. That was talking about Kubernetes. So he said, okay, have you installed a WordPress application in a VM before? I said, yes, of course. How did you do it? So you may think that that WordPress project we did is just maybe play. It's actually a POC. That was our first POC. Our second POC is going to be a microservice. That one was a monolithic system. That was why I was particular that everybody do it. And the POC we did not use already made WordPress. I can also teach you how to do a very fast, that AWS that you have, that AMI that you see. There are some AMI that already have WordPress installed. You just go and get it from the Amazon market and just commission it. It will work. But I don't want to follow those two sharp route because it's very easy. I made everybody to pass through how to install it from VPC level to making sure that it's available. Like, you understand me? That was the question I was asked. And by the time I finished answering, that's alt school, ALTSC. And I was told that school paid very well. I want to look at the review. They pay DevOps engineer from 6,000 to 8,000 USD. But as big as that company is, it's a school. You saw the question, you just hear the question they asked me. How to install WordPress. How do you configure WordPress? I know if they ask any of you here now, you'll be able to answer that question effortlessly. Understand me? Please hold on. My colleague is calling me. Hold on.
Patrick, you try to explain how you answer it briefly.
Yes, I will. Please hold on. A colleague is. So I want us to, these are the questions they asked me, and this question was very nice, and I was able to answer it. And even the guy that was interviewing me, he stays in London, in Holland, and he was so convinced, he was so relaxed, and I know that role is already mine. You understand me? So don't think that all the things we are doing here, I heard some people are saying, somebody asked me that how many people are confident enough to get a job. I said, well, what I have taught you guys, I've given you the best foundation to do anything in cloud, from Kubernetes to everything. But just that we are doing is just to be picking up on one project and be doing like the Kubernetes setup, like the Docker, like every other thing. But I have laid the foundation. There is nothing in that AWS that you cannot do, because I took my time to explain IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service, which is the most difficult part in cloud. You understand me? So, but I also went ahead to do some PAS. Now we are going to Docker, Kubernetes, and we do an application, do POC. That's just what is remaining, and we are done. You understand? But why am I taking this time to do this training? Because I know when we are done, we need people, before then, some of us will be going for interviews. But I don't want you to be having this "I'm not ready" ideology. Nobody is ready until you have a job. Because when you have a job, you know they are paying you for that job. You will be extremely ready. But otherwise, they will just knock you off. God forbid. None of us will be knocked off. We're going to have that job. But when they see that you have a best foundation to learn it, they will keep you. Okay, these are the questions I'm going to tell you about the day-to-day life. They expect you to tell them about your agile system, which is your Scrum meeting, your Kanban, the project you do, talking about your product, you understand me, your team. They expect you to talk about it. Also, they expect you to talk about the project you've worked on and the tools you have used. They want to know how passionate you are concerning what you are doing. They want to know the number of years of experience you have, because they know that the more years of experience you have, the more mistakes you have made, and the more solution library you have. And they want to also know the work you are doing that you join them to do. If you really know the function of that work and the reason for that work, that's what they want to know, the success as regard your project. And this technical interview is deep because it's going to be granular. They're going to be asking you deep questions, from networking to VPC, from networking to storage, to everything, to Kubernetes, to Stack, to the whole complete DevOps lifecycle, which is testing, development, operation. You understand me? They are going to answer all those questions. Yeah. And when they are convinced that, yes, you have it, they will not give you an assignment. From there, nobody understands the monopoly, what they are looking for. Because, see, if you fail interview, does not mean you are a failure. It means two things. What you have, the company does not want it, or the company cannot afford you. Because you can also reject an interview. Well, after everything, there was one interview I went through, 4 stages, after all the grammar, everything, they were offering $1,500 per month. It's not that it's bad. It's not bad. That is about 800,000 naira. You understand me? But because of where I've gone, with the level I've reached, you understand me? Taking that role is not going to help me. That was why I rejected it. Some of them will say $3,000 US. Some will say $4,000 US. You understand me? Some will say $5,000 US. Those kind of job I cannot take at this my stage, because why I feel I've outgrown that level. Because those kind of job is going to require me resigning from where I'm working. You understand me? So I cannot work both together. So I can reject it. Sometimes they can give you an assignment. The company can be so selfish, or the company can have so many culture that will not work with you. Some of them, they will give an assignment. The assignment is what they are already doing. Understand me? So some assignment can be so annoying. But this is the interview. They will give you an assignment, a technical take-home assignment. Take-home assignment for 1 week. They'll give you 1 week to go and do the assignment. It's an open book assignment. It's like, they may tell you, deploy a service in a Kubernetes engine. That's an assignment. And make sure that that service has HTTPS and a domain name. Or they may even not ask you to have a domain name. They'll say, make sure that the secret for that service is open. They may ask you to deploy a service and tie the service to a database. They'll tell you the type of database. They'll tell you go to the internet and look for any application and deploy it in Kubernetes engine. They can also tell you to get a Terraform to make sure that all your infrastructure is done with Terraform or any other IAC. IAC means infrastructure as code. IAC, infrastructure as a code. Any other IAC stuff, they may ask you to do that. But this assignment is going to be 1 week, depending on the company's assignment. Then after that assignment, when you come back, you're going to face the final stage of technical interview. And this final stage is mostly with the team that you're going to, either the team you are going to be leading or the team that you're going to be working with. These people are more technically grounded. You understand me? They are more technically grounded. And they are the most annoying set to have interview with. Or you have to have the interview. Some companies, we can protect you by not bringing you to these people, because these people, you know, they are junior staff. Most of them are junior staff. You understand me? Most of them are the ones doing the technical work. These people, they are ready to finish anybody, because some of them see you like a lead that is coming to lead them. They want to know that if you are grounded. But what they are expecting from you here is, one, your presentation skill. Two, collaboration. Three, your presentation, collaboration. The other thing they are also looking at for is they look at for your troubleshooting skill. Then they also want to know your technical skill set and your learning speed or skill. So this is what they are looking for in this stage of this interview. It's the most challenging interview, because why I call it the most challenging, because you have so many character of people. But what I always say in this interview is this: what you don't know, don't assume. This is how to pass the interview. One, make sure you do the assignment. Do the assignment and submit in time. Sometimes they don't expect you to do it to succeed, but they want you to do the assignment and submit in time. Then secondly, the second thing you should do is prepare presentation that will last for like 45 minutes, say 45 minutes presentation on how you did the assignment. Then the other thing you should do in this technical interview is listen to correction. And be open to suggestions. And the last but not the least is ask questions. So these are the rules how to kill this interview. So whatever thing you do, if you're able to complete the assignment in time, send it to them and be prepared for the interview for 45 minutes. Do a presentation slide on how you solve the questions, how you did it step by step. Then when you are finished presenting, they are going to be bombarding you with questions. Anytime they want to correct you, don't defend what you are doing. Tell them, okay, that is another approach to it, and it's very, very fantastic. Don't say that, no, what I did was too correct. No, that is another approach to it, and it's very, very fantastic. If they now ask you, why do you think it's fantastic? You tell them that in cloud infrastructure, there are so many ways you can get a solution. But you now have to explain why you choose that way, why you choose your own way. Don't say that what you are saying is the only way and is the best way. It shows that you cannot collaborate with team and nobody wants to work with you. Don't be aggressive. They will try to annoy you. They will try to make you angry. But don't be aggressive. What you don't know, sometimes they can ask you a question. If you don't know it, don't pound out on it. Don't say, don't guess, don't think, don't lie. Don't say, well, I don't know it. But can you help me? You understand me? Or I've not used that tool, or I've not been opportune to understand me? Or can you call it another name? Is there another way you can express your question? If they mention the other way, you say, well, I've not heard of it, or I've not used it. Be sincere. Trying to lie will put you into trouble. Especially when you are telling them that you have like 5 years skill and you're not lying on something that you've not used, you already messed things up. You messed things up. So those are the things that you have to follow in this interview. Then if you're able to finish this interview and they call you again, you're already in. The other one is going to be salary negotiation and stroke meeting management. Sometimes after this particular technical interview, you'll send you offer letter. That's what I mean by salary negotiation. Don't accept that any offer letter they give to you. I know some of us have made that mistake. It's very sweet when somebody offer you something, especially some of us that are in Nigeria that have been paid $5,000. That has been paid below $1,000, and somebody now offer you $3,000. You know, you feel like you have arrived. I made a mistake, and it hurts me because I later got another offer that was more, but I couldn't reject what I've already accepted. You understand? So don't just rush. If they give you an offer, know that they need you. Sometimes negotiate it. Not be too much. Don't be say, no, give me 200%. If they give you a salary of 50,000 USD, for example, they give 50,000 USD, add nothing less than 50%, plus or minus 50% to it. You understand me? Plus or minus, add plus or minus 50%. So if they give $50,000 as a salary, negotiate to 75. You understand me? Or below, between 60 to 75. No, they won't beat you. But they are going to increase, because the first offer they are giving to you is to weigh you, to size you. If you accept it, it either means two things: that what you say you are not actually who you say you are. You understand me? If you reject it, it shows that you have a value, and which is something they like. They will not ask you, what do you want? You give them a range. You can say, okay, my salary is what I'm expecting, especially when you are working. Don't always, if you are migrating your skill, that's another thing. Maybe you are doing network engineering before, and you are moving to DevOps. These two skills are different. Network engineering salary is 50,000. DevOps engineer's salary is 80,000. Tell them that you have been upgrading yourself to DevOps role. You have been taking DevOps contract job. So DevOps role is 75,000 USD. That you wouldn't mind having between 70 to 80,000 USD per annum. They know they will negotiate. Because if you accept 60%, 60,000 or 50,000, and you now love the company, and you want to now ask for increment, the highest they can give to you is 20% increment. You understand? You already shoot yourself on your foot. And that means it will not require you leaving that company to another company. Sometimes you may even like the company so much, but you just have to leave that company because what they are paying you is not commensurate to your value. Whose fault? It's not their fault. It's your fault. Whenever they send you an offer letter, don't just, because they will give you 72 hours. It's a strategy to rush you into signing it. You can reach out immediately that, is this the best offer they can give? They will know that you know what you are doing. Don't be afraid. Immediately, because they have made you pass through all those processes. And they have spent money to do those processes. For anybody that are calling for interview, both the recruiter, both the one that brought you in, before they start giving you an offer, they have already spent money in getting you. So no one to spend that money and that process is again on other persons. They know that you are best fit. So negotiate. When you negotiate, then they give you an offer. Immediately you sign that offer, you've gotten the job. Not the day they give you an offer letter. Offer letter is not, immediately you sign an offer and then I send it to you. You have gotten the job. The next thing is onboarding. They'll create an email address for you. Joy does start. Happiness does start. You understand me? And that is it. So I think these are the steps, these are the stages from my experience and from other experiences that I've gotten. So if there are going to be changes, it's going to be 1 or 2 change. Understand me? So any question? We have 30 minutes for 2 questions. Any question, please? Any question?
Hello, Patrick. For those that are new to DevOps and they have their LinkedIn tailored to a different role, maybe business analyst, project manager. So, and you said part of the global resume is your LinkedIn. Do they delete it? What would you advise? And now they don't have any experience. Should I say I work with Patrick Agbogu group of companies as a DevOps consultant and put there and delete my former one? And are they going to call you to reference, to ask you, are you sure Prince will work with Agbogu Patrick Limited, Gemo Worldwide? How do you defend me? How do you cover all the lapses? What do you have to say? Your question is kind of funny, but I know you are trying to make it play, but I'll try to make it serious and also make it funny too. So the answer is this. In one way or the other, currently since 2015, we have been using cloud infrastructure. Just that some of us don't know the part of cloud infrastructure we have been using. You understand me? And some of us have been using AWS, OCI, Azure. You understand me? In your business analysis. For example, if you have been in business analysis before, Power BI is in Azure. Do you know that? Yes, I know that. Okay. There's a Microsoft service. Yeah. Azure. So most of your tools you use, what you will now do, you now go to your LinkedIn and put Azure. Most of your tools you are using, you will now put hosted in Azure cloud, which is making you a DevOps engineer. And that part is called SaaS, Software as a Service. So what you are doing is that you are now bringing some tune, some cloud tune to all those experience that you've had before. So they will now see the transitioning, how you were transiting from Power BI, which is a cloud infrastructure, which is more of data analysis, into cloud engineering. There are some DevOps engineers that they need, that they want that person to have an experience. You know, this Power BI and everything we're talking about is talking about the company that is hiring you. For example, if the company is into data analysis and they're looking for DevOps engineer, you know you are the best fit. Because they feel you have used data analytical tools and you can set up a data pipeline for them, which makes you the best fit for that role. And currently is one of the most selling DevOps role. You understand? So don't change the company. Don't go to your LinkedIn and start changing everything you have done. No. Go to your LinkedIn and all those, for example, you could Google what the cloud DevOps role, cloud DevOps role. You understand me? CI/CDs. You do CI/CD in Power BI now. Yes? Am I lying? What's that? You do CI/CD. You design pipeline. So what you do, you now go to that your LinkedIn. Actually, I didn't do CI/CD in Power BI. Will I learn how to use the tools for data? Beautiful. But you learn the tools. What are the tools you learn in data pipeline? SQL, Power BI, Tableau, Python, and all that. Yeah. SQL is a part of CI/CD pipeline. Tableau is a software as a service. It's a platform as a service tool. You understand me? And when you are doing data injection and data filtering, you set up a pipeline, you know. Set up a pipeline. You have to set up a pipeline. That pipeline is also CI/CD. Just like in this case, it's not picking from GitHub, it's picking from a data source, and maybe a data analytics source, and delivering it to another place. So there's always a CI/CD in everything we do currently. What you just do, you go there and put CI/CD data pipeline. You understand me?
cloud infrastructure, Azure, you understand? Then you put, what were you using? Was it VM that you were using? All your resources were being hosted, or Kubernetes? You understand me? If you analyze your files, your application very well, they have one or two infrastructure where those Power BI is sitting on. It's not going to be in a physical server, a physical data center. It's always in cloud. So what you do, what I did, I went to put some cloud resources that is similar to what I'm already using. I throw it into my experience. Also, what you just need to do, just go to your experience. Don't go to the end of your experience and start putting all those two. They will know that you are lying. Put it in between. You understand me? Put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in relation to cloud. Then this your current role. You cannot say DevOps engineer. You can say DevOps to data analyst or data engineer. DevOps to data engineer, which is also part of DevOps engineer. So all you just need to do, because I know you are doing this Power BI, do automation. You guys do automation, Ashe? Hello, sir. Hello? So what I'm trying to say is,
I did hear you, I did hear.
you do automation, Abi. You do automation. You set up a system that can pick up data and analyze data for you, Abi, and sieve data. Yes, now.
No, I'm just working with that one now. That's data engineering. Automation is going far to data engineering. That requires more skills. I did that one on personal study, but you've not gotten there. Okay.
So you look at in every data, in every Power BI or whatever thing you are doing, is basically going to be tied to AWS, tied to cloud, Google Cloud. It may not be in AWS, but it may be in Azure, but they are all cloud infrastructure. Now, engineer, you understand me? They'll know that you are a cross-platform. You know Azure and you know AWS. You know that one would not make you more valuable. You understand? Make you more valuable because they know that you can work with the data team, the analytic team, and also the infrastructure team. You understand? So try and throw those things. Don't lie in the company that you are working. Sometimes some big companies, after they have done everything, they will ask you to send a reference letter from your company that you're working. Sometimes you may not even know that if they are able shareholders, if that company that you want to work with has a relationship with that company that you say you have worked with before. They may even go and do your background check without you knowing. And they may return and say they are sorry. You understand me? So just try and throw those things. But meanwhile, your current role that you are doing now, put more DevOps role inside. Especially the ones that you know you can defend. That's what I always say. Or another way is this. We may have some freelance job that you've done, some freelance project that you've done. I get them. You can even put cloud training for enthusiasts, freelance. Those things, those tools that I told you about, that I explained to you, list them there in that freelance. You understand? They will not marry, oh, this guy was doing a freelance job. That's why as he was working here, he was also building himself to learn this skill. Now, if you see my resume, my LinkedIn profile, you see Gemo Global Resources Limited, I put it there. But when I was also working in Airtel and Glo, I was helping companies to migrate that infrastructure. I was doing DevOps role. But because it was not tied to Glo 100% or tied to Airtel 100%, I tied it to my own freelance job. And it worked for me. You understand me? Put it as freelance. Nobody can hold you, say you did freelance or you don't do freelance. That's why you can defend it. So that is it.
How can you help us? Can we say we work with Gemo too? We did freelance for Gemo.
You can put it. You can say you work freelance for Gemo World Resources Limited. Understand me? And go ahead. You can put it under the auspices of cloud training for enthusiasts. You understand? You can put it there. You can say you do a project for cloud training for enthusiasts, migration of WordPress from on-prem to other. You understand me? Setting up management of WordPress infrastructure. You can put it. It's a project all of us did together, and you can defend it. You understand? Put it. But instead of putting 3 months, you can put 1 year, or 1 or 2 years. You understand me?
Okay.
Because my experience that I shared with you is more than 10 years. So I packed all those experience to you. So you guys use that experience. You can leverage on it. You understand? So these are the things. Any other question? Any other question? Do you have
Okay,
okay.
Good evening, sir. This is Jose.
Okay, Jose, welcome, sir.
Sorry, I came in late. I was actually in another meeting. So I quickly ran up there. I'm still in the meeting. I have to leave them. I have to beg somebody to stand in because I'm the host. So I just sought somebody to stand in for me. So I'll quickly be part of this. So I was just in the last part of all you have been saying. From the page you share here, I can see salary management. I don't know all this, all what you have been saying. I don't know. Maybe if you can just come a little bit brief again, because so that I can get 1 or 2, please. I only got the last question from I think is it Usas or from who, where he asked that can one add like the experience maybe that is he has not done Power BI. Can he add maybe your company name to part of the project migrating WordPress to the upstream something like that and all that. So I don't know, maybe if you can just maybe a brief recall, sir. Sorry.
The only thing I can do for that, we've said so much. This video is recorded. I will share this video with everybody. Because we've said so much. I don't know where to now start from now, but we've been talking for almost 1 hour, 30 minutes. So what I
think
do,
it's good to share the video.
I will share this video. That's why we record it, so that you can get a recap. And if you have any question, you can now share with me. So any question apart from that, any other question? We have less than 20 minutes to go.
No questions until I go through the whole
Yes.
recording.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Toby, any question? Your interview some people will be going interviewing this week. So ask your question now.
Okay. So before the interview, sorry, this goes again. Before the interview, do we need to actually do all this before the interview, or we should just because I need to find a way to rearrange my CV and also make rearrange my LinkedIn profile and also start to match the role.
You can go ahead and start doing it this night or tomorrow. Well, were you in yesterday's class?
No, I'm not. I wasn't.
Wow, a lot. We said so much about how to arrange your LinkedIn profile. I promised to also share that video too, but it's going to be on Zoom. There are so many confidential things I shared there, which I wouldn't want to be in the public eyes. So
okay. So how do we get it?
I'm going to put it in S3 bucket and also only give people that request for it access. So you cannot share it, you just view it.
Okay.
And
no. Okay. Okay. So if it's possible this night, I wouldn't mind, sir, so that I'll just quickly look at it and start working.
I can't guarantee this night, because after this call, we have, I can share this one we just did now this night. After this call, I have my colleague is on standby. for a project we started yesterday, which we need to complete. So I may not be able to do that this night, but for the S3 bucket, but for this one, I will share this one. I'll share this one.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Any question? Any question again?
Good evening. Mine is not a question. Mine is just a kind of a scenario play of a typical day of a DevOps person. I mean, we have learned so much. I mean, and we are piecing them together, and we are now trying to see how we can build the resume out of what we have learned, saying that we have been able to get a glimpse of a 10-year experience. However, I will speak for myself personally. I still feel that I still need a more an overview of what it is. I can go to the internet and surf that, but I want to connect that to my period of learning within here. And so I just maybe we still have 20 minutes, and I still believe that maybe you will be able to help us throw light into that. So it grounds or give a ground confidence in this approach. Yes, we have done 1 or 2 or 3 projects, and we feel like we have a foundation in this. But once you have somebody tell you, I for one have not been in a software development lifecycle, but I can watch videos and see people. But I want to tie it to the years of experience that I've acquired here. That way, I'm able to relate it with my learning here and then attach it to whatever broader learning. It's a continuous learning process, and I believe that we will get there someday. I mean, we have the foundation to propel us to go ahead. So that's my own take. I mean, my own, it's not a question per se, but my view of what I hope to get. I don't know if that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. That was a very good question, and I will be sincere. Let me just give it to you. Every project is tied to a product. What is a product? A product is that services, that solution that the company wants to give out. It's called a product. Could be a fintech product. It could be an edutech product. Fintech means a product that is into finance. You understand me? Edutech product means a product that can help people to learn better, or any other product. So those products, there are so many features that those products that product provides. There are some features it provides. What I mean by features, I mean there are some benefits, there are some important part of that product that makes it unique from every other product. So those features are what makes up the product backlog. What I mean by product backlog, when a company wants to do a product, they will say, okay, I want this product to have this capacity, this capability. I want this product to be able to do this, this, and this. So this, and this that you want that product to do, the company will now write it together and put it somewhere. So the product owner, meaning the person that have that idea of the kind of services that product that company wants to offer, that idea that brings that idea together is called a product owner. You understand me? When it brings that idea together, it shares the idea with the company. When the company likes the idea, the product owner will now list those things that product will have, and will now give it to a solution architect. A solution architect will now design this product in high-level language. What I mean by high-level language? In block diagram. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. A will be doing this, B will be doing this, C will be doing this, G will be doing this, F will be doing this. So because it's in a very simple language that anybody can understand, that's why it's called high-level language. It's a block diagram. So those block diagrams the solution architect have done, they will not pack it and give it to a Scrum Master, or either a Scrum Master or a project manager, which is also most times a Scrum Master too. Then that Scrum Master will not design that high-level language, meaning that block diagram, A, B, C, and D. We will now put those A, B, C, and D together and share it to a team. The Scrum Master will have a developer. We also have the developer, which is the front end, the back end, and the DevOps engineer. So the back end will be doing those things that will make the engine to work, because the back end talks about the engine, while the front end talks about the things that people can see, which is the UI, UX, and the website, and the Play Store, Google Play Store application. You understand me? That's what the front end will be doing, and the app developer. So the front end will be doing their own, the back end will be doing their own. The work of a DevOps is to make sure that everything that the back end do reflects in the server, and everybody can see it. So that is what the backlog of the developer, where the developer wants to work, like the Bitbucket that they want to work on, is being designed by the DevOps engineer. There's time the tools they are going to be using, maybe the pipeline in this case, is going to be set up by the DevOps engineer. You understand? The infrastructure, which is the CIC, the Google Cloud or AWS infrastructure, is going to be set up by the DevOps engineer. The monitoring is going to be set up by the DevOps engineer. And the security is going to be set up by the DevOps engineer. And the testing is going to be set up by the DevOps engineer. And all these things they are setting up, they will set up in development environment, test environment, production environment, pre-production environment, and production environment. So all this environment I'm talking about is server. They will set up one Kubernetes engine for developers to develop. They will set up another Kubernetes engine for the test department to test what the developers have developed. They set up another production engine, another Kubernetes engine, where the pre-production, meaning the stakeholders and every other person in the company, to test what the QA team have validated to say this application is okay. Then when do that is the pre-production, then the go live. The go live is that engine that the public is going to be using. So these four development, these four environments is going to be set up by a DevOps engineer. So the work of a DevOps engineer daily is to, one, look out for the infrastructure that the developers want to use. Those are the things that will make up the DevOps backlogs. Okay, like we are setting up, I just mentioned Sonac, we are setting up so many infrastructure. So you say, okay, the developer, the code management system, the software code management system, which is SCM. Maybe we are using GitHub or we are using Bitbucket or GitLab. You have to subscribe. You have to set it up, set up the project. Okay, the CI/CD, maybe we are using Jenkins or Bitbucket or Circle CI. You have to set it down up. Then the Kubernetes engine for the development environment, you have to set it up. So all the things you are setting up is going to set it up for all environments. That's the day-to-day life of a DevOps engineer. A DevOps lead will be the one to set those ones up and allocate it to a DevOps engineer. Now, what you do in the morning, you have a meeting with, after you've set up your environment, you now start having a daily meeting with the developer, both the front end and the back end. So if they are having issue using the infrastructure you are set up, or maybe the infrastructure you are set up is having automation break, you are the one that will help them resolve it. So after setting the infrastructure for them, you're going to be having meeting with them. So they will be working on a daily basis, but you are just going to be like a support engineer. So if the code is not committing well, they will reach out to you. If the code is not deploying well, they will reach out to you. If the pipeline is not doing well, maybe it's the Docker file is not building well, they will reach out to you. You understand me? That is the daily life of a DevOps engineer. Then after the application is set up, the developers have stopped working. You have to also to make sure that the system is properly monitored using Grafana and Prometheus. So if there's a downtime, you have to quickly respond to the downtime and make sure that the system is up. That's the function of a DevOps engineer. That one is for what we call post-production, after the work have gone live. So these are the daily, so what does a DevOps engineer do? First of all, when you wake up in the morning, you have your daily stand-up, which is 15 minutes. That stand-up, you will tell them what you've done. You hear the developer talk about the issues they are having. Then you go back to your Jira board. So Jira board is where we list all those things we want to do on a daily basis. You look at what the things, the task that was assigned to you, or the issue that is going to be fixed, or maybe they are going to modify some application in production environment. So you have to be there so that in case there's any mistake, you can quickly rectify it. You understand me? That is your work on a daily basis. I think I've really explained in-depthly what a software development lifecycle is. So there's nothing special. These are the things you're going to be doing. That is why I took my time to lecture Git. I took my time to lecture VS Code. I took my time to lecture IaaS, infrastructure as a code, infrastructure as a service. You understand me? And I've lectured Docker. Now we are going to Kubernetes. So all those ones I've explained the basic infrastructure, how to set up infrastructure, and how to manage code. You understand me? Then after Kubernetes, we'll go into automation. Kubernetes is the beginning of automation. The second one, we're going to talk about the CI/CD pipeline. Just the pipeline. We have talked about CI/CD now. Then we talked about the pipeline, which is going to start on next week. So that is it. So there's nothing special with what they are going to be asking you. So this question they are going to be asking you, so you know how to marry yourself around all these things. Did I really do more? And do you have any other question apart from? Did you understand what I just explained?
I mean, it gave light. It's at least it's a good. I mean, it gave light to the overview picture. Thank you.
You're welcome. That question was a very intelligent question. Thank you for asking it. And all the questions that have been asked here, they're also intelligent questions too. If you have more questions, ask. We have less than 10 minutes.
Sorry, Patrick. I just had these monitoring tools for the first time. You'll be charging us to, we are prepared, we are ready. If I've gone to an interview and they ask what's a Grafana, what's the monitoring tool, I'll be dumbfounded. I'll tell them I'll get back to them. So do you say we should wait till the end of the session before we can start building more of that confidence to approach any interview and all that? Or we are ready as at today to start applying? Then two, you never mentioned if there's any technical code in interview. I know some interview are required to write code or configure. They will do a test live and they'll be watching you. Have you ever faced that in an interview where you have to write code? Because you just said technical interview. You didn't talk about code writing, like building all those SSH and all that. They will ask you to do all this thing live. Do you have to do that during your interview?
Thank you so much.
And the last question is, I've used Microsoft Azure. The DevOps environment of Microsoft Azure is unique to Microsoft Azure. We never touched it. We'll be working with AWS. And if interview comes and the organization use Microsoft Azure DevOps, I know there's a link. You have to create a site, register and all that. How do we approach it? Because we never done that. We only touch on AWS. Are we saying our domain is AWS? Because that's what you've been teaching us. You didn't touch Google Cloud. You didn't touch Microsoft Azure. So how do we cover that gap?
Thank you so much. That's another very fantastic question. Okay, you asked 3 questions, and I don't want to miss those questions up. The first one was Grafana and monitoring tools. That monitoring tools is part, I mentioned it in our first training. In our first training, when we started this training from the beginning, if you can remember, we were talking about the CI/CD DevOps class from the beginning. I mentioned it, Abby. Monitoring is the last part of DevOps session. You understand? CloudWatch is white black box. Why? Grandfather is white box. When we are going to be talking about Kubernetes, there's no how we will not talk about Grafana. It's key. So that was what I was waiting for us to do that. However, as I also mentioned it from the first class, you can also go to LinkedIn Learning and just have an idea of what this thing is all about. It's a simple thing. It's just like, it's an application that you put inside your Kubernetes that will help you to monitor all the things going on and be reporting to you. It's there's nothing special. It's just like a VM, just the way you put normal application, you understand me, in a VM, and you just want that application to monitor everything within your VM and tell you what is going on. So your own capacity is to look at whatever thing that application is monitoring and make sure you quickly respond to it. There are so many. We have the Datadog, we have Data Lake, you have so many. But Grafana is the most popular one, and Prometheus is the popular one. So it's something I expect us to learn. I'm still going to throw like when we get to that part. Now, for the cloud infrastructure, no company will expect you to know all cloud infrastructure. But the question that I'm going to be asking you is, tell us about how you're able to do infrastructure. So they expect you to use the tools that you are familiar with. But one thing they know is that if you are very good in AWS and you know what you are doing, they know that to migrate you to other clouds, it's going to be easy. For example, the company that I resigned before joining this company now was in Google Cloud. And when I was being interviewed, I told them from the beginning that I am more of AWS person. But when I saw the details, the way I was able to expatiate AWS and give them the complete blueprint of AWS, they told me that I can also work in DGCP, and they gave me the job. Does that mean that I'm the only person that I'm going for the interview? I know there could be somebody that have a certification in Google Cloud. I'm talking about professional certification that did not get that job role. They just want to know if you know what you are doing, and they know that they are going to train you. I think they gave me 3 weeks onboarding. That 3 weeks onboarding, they taught me GCP in relation to AWS, but because I already have AWS, I know VPC, subnet is subnet, Abi, EC2 is EC2, Kubernetes is Kubernetes anywhere. So I was able to blend in, and you wish I know everybody will be able to blend it, and you get it and succeed. But if you say you want to learn AWS, you now learn GCP, you now learn OCI, you now learn everything, before you now start applying for a job, you miss it. As a matter of fact, if they see that you have all this key, and you're learning at the same time, they will see like somebody that is not focused. So AWS is your domain right now, and you can function. I know you guys can get a job. Most companies are looking for people, because the kind of question I'm going to ask you, they're not going to ask you in fact, all the things I taught you, they may never ask you everything. Maybe they're looking for somebody that understands networking. Maybe the company just have issue with somebody that knows. They don't know how to network. They just want somebody that understands that VPC networking and everything. That could be the reason why they will hire you. You understand me? But you will not know what they are looking for until you apply for a role. And you will not know your strength and your capacity until you go for an interview. You understand? Some of us are lucky. Their first interview, they get the job. Some of us, first interview, second interview, third interview. For me, I know it was even my 10th or 15th interview that I started getting job. I failed so many. But those interviews I have gave me the confidence, make me to build more, make me to know more about DevOps, make me to know more about different company stack. Now, when I'm going for interview now, I'm confident. That does not mean that all interview I will go for, I will still pass, even at this my level. Even if you are the technical interviewer, be rest assured that after the technical interview, if you go to another company to be interviewed, you may even lose that job. You understand me? Because everything is peculiar. But you will not know which one is yours until you apply, until you are called for interview. For example, do you think it's everybody that have just finished training that is opportune to be asked to be interviewed, like the way some of us already have it opportunity now. You understand me? I was opportune to have gotten a connection with a recruiter that loved my profile. You understand me? And you guys were also in that time frame where I have a recruiter that is looking for a DevOps engineer. And you automatically just gave some people free movement to stage 3 of the interview process. You understand me? That is how life is. Sometimes it can be based on chances, but I have took my time to introduce you to cloud and give you the foundation to build on, and also giving you the opportunity to explore. That is what I can do, but I cannot do more than that. I can also keep working on what I've started to make sure we are all stable. You understand me? That is the only thing I can say for now. So I've explained you cannot learn all cloud infrastructure, but you can learn one particular one, which is AWS. I've explained the Prometheus and Grafana that we're going to do it. I've already introduced it when we started our class on the first day. If you miss it, you can go to Intro to DevOps. It's in our YouTube channel. You see it, you get it. But I'm still going to practicalize it. And I also give you LinkedIn Learning day first today, which you can just subscribe and watch just 1 hour, 20 minutes video, and you know all these things. But do you know why you'll be able to know it better? But because the foundation is already properly laid. You understand me? It's excellently laid. Now, go back to the question about technical interview. Some companies still don't know how to recruit for DevOps engineer. Before, they request a DevOps engineer to do Python coding. But I know now, recently, they now understand that Python coding is not part of DevOps engineering role. So most of the technical interview I've gone for, they've not asked me to code in Python. The only thing they will ask for me is deploy an infrastructure into AWS. You understand me? Deploy a Kubernetes engine, deploy a VM, deploy Spiner. Those ones, they know we not use it. They will tell you, they will send you a documentation. They will send you what to do. They will just expect you to just do it. They will ask you to use bash scripting, what is bash scripting, which is the Linux, which we have been practicing with all this while. You understand me? Those are the questions they're going to be asking you. They're not going to ask you to write any code. If anyone asks you to write any code, they don't know what they are doing. You're not a developer, you're a DevOps engineer. They may ask you to set up a CI/CD pipeline, but they will not ask you to write a code. They will even put it there, go and look for any code anywhere and Dockerize it. But when it comes to developer, they are going to ask the developer to write code. You understand me? But they will not ask you to write code. I think I've answered all your questions. Or if there's still more that you don't clear, please reiterate it. You can re-ask it.
No, you did well. You answered.
Okay. Any other question, please? Any other question?
Sir, the LinkedIn learning that you say you shared, I don't know how can I get it, sir?
Okay, you can just go to your profile, upgrade your status to premium, which is 1 month free. You have access to LinkedIn Learning. The other video I said I'm going to still share, I think we did a video on it and we explained how to get it too. You understand? But now even your LinkedIn Learning now, we know you will not have access to materials because why you asked? Those materials are paid for, only for premium user that you have some of the materials. For other personal development materials, there are some free stations, some free. There was a time Microsoft himself gave some free LinkedIn Learning link. I think I will still look for it. Those link was paid for by Microsoft just for us to use. I will still look if they are still available for anybody to learn. But for you to use LinkedIn Learning, so upgrade your profile to premium and subscribe. And just go ahead and go to pick up any course you want and just type the course and you see the materials, and it's very, very educative. I know what I'm talking about. So any other question? Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.
Any other question? Okay, let me summarize everything we've done today. In summary, you don't have all the skill set to be confident on yourself. But the ones you know well, be confident in that and express yourself with it. Tell me about yourself. That's a question. This is how I always tell them. My name is Patrick Akbogun. I have more than 11 years experience in cloud infrastructure. I've supported a telecom industry. I've worked for fintech industry, and I've also worked for an edutech. I have joined a system that migrated an application from on-prem to a public cloud, GCP, AWS. And I've also support and manage a complete deployment of a fintech application into Google Cloud Infrastructure. I enjoy using lean methodology in all the processes I do because I know cutting costs is one of the business strategy and reducing waste. You understand me? And I'm very, very security conscious. I'm a computer science graduate, and I love working with team. So as I'm talking, I smile. So this is just my own. You say you are going to talk my own, same thing. No. For example, Prince Way, I know you worked in Nigeria before you went to Canada. You worked for more than 6 years, 7 years in IBTC, Abi. How many years did you work there?
10 years.
10 years. And how long have you been working in Canada?
5 years.
That's 15 years. You can start with this. I'm Gobada Princeway Egosa. I have 15 years industrial experience cutting across fintech, infotech, and insurance. Abi? And in this process, I've helped to drive product sales. I've supported customer resolution issues. You understand me? And I've also helped a system that reduced the time in resolution of customer issue. Currently, I am a cloud engineer, DevOps cloud engineer, and I have vast experience in AWS networking, VPC, compute instances. I manage and help a company to migrate their WordPress application, and I deployed a WordPress application into AWS infrastructure using LAMP methodology, and the system was resilient and it was very fast. You understand me? And I've joined a team to manage to learn. I've joined a learning team, and I've also give some learning insights to some of my team members. Now they will not ask you, when you were in fintech, what did you do? We use so many software as a service application. You understand me? To manage company resolutions, and sometimes I do remote support to these clients, and I even go to their on-prem to ensure that their issues are duly resolved and documented. What you just talked about now? You're talking about solution provisioning. You're talking about that you know what you are doing. You're a technical person from the scratch, and you did that for 10 years. And where you are working now, you work in Power BI. You have done so many fantastic things, because for them to be paying you salary means that you are bringing value. Marry this value together and tie it to cloud. Then I have set up so many pipelines for data analysis, and I've set up this, I've set up that, I've done this, I've done that. I use this Linux. So you understand me? So at the end of the day,
Everybody wants to take that experience, that your 15 years experience, which is not something they can buy. But sometimes we kind of ignore all these years of experience. We want to just tell them that we started by 3 months. 3 months. You know, when you graduated from school, you did electrical electronics engineering, 2006. You did PGD in electrical electronics engineering. You did your another BSc in electronics engineering in so you see all these things you are talking about. These are wealth of knowledge. These are investments. And why are you doing this? Because you love to learn, and you love to be granular in anything you do, because you know that there is no room for mistakes. And you have helped company to save millions of naira. That is what they want. Not I can use CI/CD, I can use all these things. What does that? What's the value? They will just think that maybe you just went to the internet and start reading all those CI/CD things. But then
you have to put dollar amount to the savings you did.
Beautiful.
Because they say you need the star approach. You need to be specific.
Yes. Yeah. Put the dollar. Like me, when I saved company almost 800%, the company was paying almost 13,000 USD for infrastructure. And when I optimized that infrastructure, they were now paying 1,600 USD. You know how many percentage is that? Anytime I mention that during interview, they are always mad. I always say that thing in my second and third stage. And I always just get to the last stage. Who don't want to hear how you save cost? Or are you able to help company customer issues resolved? Or are you able to help your team to work? But sometimes we feel they don't count. They count. They may even pick you and look for somebody that have more technical skill and ask you to manage that person. That's why I always say, King Prince, you are a manager. You and Toby are managers. You are people. Egosa is a people manager, while Toby is a technical manager. I've had interview with both of you. But you just have to be confident in who you are. Any other question?
So Patrick, before you leave, I had one interview, and they asked simple questions like, what is a cloud and all that. But you didn't touch on this during your interview preparation with us, like all those minor things. Do you have to go back and learn it? What is a Docker? What's a cloud? And all those batch scripting and all that.
I believe what made you to fail that interview, if you failed it, is because you were afraid or you were not expecting such easy questions. And most times, simple questions like that can throw you off. I explained, I defined it before. I gave you the definition of cloud. In fact, I took my time to explain that. Sometimes when you are going for an interview, pray. Use the restroom. I always tell people this. Sleep before the interview. Don't just prepare for interview all through the night and in the morning you expect to be active. You have exhausted yourself. That interview, you'll be stressed. A day before interview, sleep, normal sleep. Before the interview, wash your mouth, go to the toilet, poo-poo, wee-wee. Drink little water. Because sometimes these things can put pressure on you. Are you getting me? And smile. You will remember all these things I taught you. Then the answer of going back to revise. Yes, go ahead and keep revising. Don't just revise the book. Practice. Practice. They don't expect you to give you the verbatim definition of cloud. No, they expect you to give a pictorial explanation based on what you know cloud to be. Cloud is simply connecting to public server and using it remotely, using from your system. We have public and private cloud. I've explained that to you. I will give you a proper definition of it. So if you did not say it the way you expect to say it, was not because you don't know it. Maybe you were tensed. And so recruiter can put you in your high tone. Sometimes you need to slow it down. So I think I've answered that question. Or if I have not, did I?
Yeah, you did. You answered it. Not waiting for the results. of the interview, so it's okay. They ask for
You get the
API.
job. You get the job. You get the job. I know you will get the job. Did they see why I got his first job? He was jumping now. All of you will get the job. Just be confident.
Hello, Efosa. You wanted to say something that they ask of this, they ask of that. Can we hear more?
He shared it. He shared the question.
Yeah. I shared the question with one or two people. They asked for what is an API, what is GCP. They said, how do you protect if you go to a new environment and you see an adapter plugged to a modem plugged to a device? What will it do? And what will it do? Yeah, what will it do? And he asked for so many other questions I can't just remember from the top of my head. But API was there. What is an API?
Okay.
Some command. Yeah.
But
what is the command?
If you can still remember,
SSH.
I don't know if you can help us post it.
But can you share it with me?
It's with Patrick. Patrick can read it now. It's with Patrick. Patrick,
please,
can read some of the lines.
Share it on the group.
Share
it on the group. But just know that different
interviews. Okay,
but just know that different interview has their different questions. So
yes,
just have an idea of that question. Don't go to an interview and prepare for that, and then ask you what is CI/CD. You now say CI/CD is an API, and everything will just be mixed up. Just know the nature of that interview, and just prepare yourself for the interview you are going for based on the questions. Some interviews are simple, especially if you are in the state or the country where the interview is being made. Maybe they are looking for somebody and you are in UK and you're looking for somebody in UK. But if you are outside UK, your question is going to be tougher, because they know that they will go to spend money bringing you. So they want to know that if it's worth the trouble. I've missed so many job opportunities, not because I was not qualified, but because I was not in that location where that job is being advertised. So they feel bringing me in before they will now start testing and trying, it's going to cost them more. So if I was there, they will just give me the job. They will know that after 2 months or 3 months, if I didn't function well, they ask me to go a bit. Yes, but they will also know that there's chance for this guy to function. They are not going to spend more. So these are the things I want to say. Like this interview that you guys are going for this week, the interview is based in Nigeria, in Europe. So it's going to be a bit easier. So that, I think we use more than expected time here. But I enjoyed myself. And if you have questions, please ask. I think I still have room for one more question.
So the interview we have this week, is it going to be conducted online or is it a physical interview?
It's an online interview now.
So since you said Lagos, since you said Nigeria, I was thinking maybe it's something that has to do with maybe physical stuff.
They're all remote. They're all remote. You may be having interview with the whites if you pass the first stage. Most times, I think I had one with South African, the other one was with European. I had about 3 sets before I was able to get the role. But me, I'm even considering I'm going to take the role. But I just want to help the company build their stack, build their team. So it's not, if you miss the interview, don't feel bad. You understand me? Just give it a shot. Take it as part of your experience. But go there with confidence, not with failure mind that, I don't know this thing. You already defeated yourself. Go there with confidence that I can do this thing. And you'll be able to do it. I think that is my question. That's the time for today. I think you just used the last question that was available. And thank you so much. Please, next week, tell the May session, please, next week, let's not take it for granted. Because next week is going to be resumption of our lab and it's going to be fun all through. You understand me? But I believe this week we really did well. I think we can also keep building on that.
And I know by God's grace, for the end of our session training, we will have the job. And if you still want to join August session, you are allowed to join. You understand me? Because sometimes when you learn something twice, it sticks more better. But what I was trying to discourage is that I don't want people to have the mindset of not finishing one class, going halfway in the hope of starting another class. It's not a good way to grow. Finish this, join another class, finish it. You understand me? It makes you better. And for those of us that are in May session, if you are going to join another class, there's already a discount, which I've already told everybody. If you are in May session, you are joining that class, you're just going to pay. If you pay your main session fully, you're only going to pay 50% of the other session. You understand? So that is it. So thank you so much. Okay, see you. Bye-bye. Why are we quiet now? Shugbo.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
I'll
send the question.
Yeah, yes. Le Compira, so good to see you again. Toby.
Bye-bye.
You can see. Okay, see ya. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Patrick.
Yeah. Bye.